Before I got together with my fiance, and no, I'm not going to show you pictures. Every time I show pictures of my fiance, people say that I'm bragging. But before I got together with her, like she wasn't really interested in video games. She didn't play video games. I mean, maybe she played Tetris when that was a thing, and a couple of phone games. But she was completely unaware of consoles and anything that has to do with PC games. So I got her into it, and she really enjoys playing Tomb Raider. She enjoys playing Uncharted. She's afraid to play Resident Evil, like she can't play it, but she likes to see me playing. But where am I going with this? Like she likes a lot of video games, but like one time she saw me play her Jedi Fallen Order, and it's that female companion on the screen, and she wonders like, why did they make her so ugly? Like, why is that woman so ugly? It made me laugh. It's like, well, if you think this is ugly, you should see other Western characters. But the interesting thing is, right? Because a lot of people would assume that this is how the actual actress who plays the role looks like. I mean, even though it's a video game, you get motion capture, right? But that's not the case. I mean, the actual actress looks a lot better than the video gaming character. So it was a specific decision done by the developers to change the way the in-game model looks like, to make it a lot different than the actual actress. And you get to see this happening again with The Last of Us, where the character that plays Dina looks a lot better than the actual in-game character, and it's really the same with Abby. So it's conscientious decisions from the video game developers ever since Mass Effect Andromeda to actually make the females look a lot worse in the game than they're based on the model that they're played. Now, you get to see the same happening in comic books, where the female characters are made specifically to look more androgynous. It's not that they're just fully clothed or they're made to look ugly. No. It's like broad shoulders, strong jawline, short hair, like everything done in order to make them look more of the toxic masculine variety. But the thing with comic books is that the comic book writers, they always have the excuse. They can say, well, like art is subjective, so just because you don't like it doesn't mean it's not beautiful. Which is a really dumb take, because they don't say it if you appreciate that art. Like if you say, wow, this is a really great character, I really love what they done to her. They will never say, oh, well, like hold on a little bit, like art is subjective. You can't say it's beautiful, right? The argument is always made when someone doesn't like it, and especially if they're in the majority of people not liking it. But as I said before, right, in the comic book industry, they can just say, well, it's a drawing, right? But in the video gaming industry, it is a conscientious decision, because there is an actual human character. There's a human actor which poses for these for these characters. And if the character looks different than the human actor, to the point where they look like almost different people, then you can point it out and say, well, why did the developer decide to make this distinction? And case in point, Horizon Zero Dawn. Now, I haven't played the first Horizon Zero Dawn simply because I found the whole ideology surrounding the game to be incredibly cringe. Like, at the time, it was marketed like a hyper-feminist game and whatnot, and I was like, well, then I hope a lot of feminists are going to buy it, because it doesn't seem to be marketed as a game for everyone. I mean, it seems to not be inclusive for me. I'll just play Tomb Raider, because Tomb Raider doesn't do that type of division when it comes to their fan base. And before rolling your eyes, you need to understand my criticism. Like, every time the marketing team says something is feminist, the problem that I have isn't that it has, like, female characters or whatever. No, it's that you will notice this trend, which once I will tell it to you, it will just break your immersion. Right? When something is marketed as feminist, usually, and play Horizon Zero Dawn again, and you're going to notice this trend, every single man, with very few exceptions, are either evil, buffoonish, or incompetent, or a mixture of the things mentioned above. While the female characters are virtuous, nice, positive, and this just breaks immersion because it's cartoonish. Like, human beings aren't like that. Human beings are like all men are bad, and all men are incompetent, and all men are just dumb, and all the other people, like all the women are just like plain angels, superhuman, like almost they're coming from another dimension because they're like pixies that are magical and just wonderful in every way. And this is cringe to me. Like, this is not a really good way of creating characters. But not only that, stories always come in the package with capitalism evil, corporations horrible, even though that the game is made by a corporation and sold to you through capitalism. But environment good, mankind evil. And like, it's such a boring way of making stories that when I do see the marketing, and the marketing is like, oh yeah, by the way, this is going to be like a feminist game or whatever, I just stay away from it. So why am I bringing this up? Well, recently you have a sequel to this very progressive and woke game, and a lot of people notice that Aloy looks really bad. I mean, she again is suffering from the uglification syndrome. But when you look at the female actress, like the model for Aloy, like, she looks gorgeous. She looks beautiful. She looks very feminine. And again, like, people were wondering, like, WTF? Because you got people on the internet that are just mocking and tearing this apart, making fun of this artistic decision, which is obviously a conscientious decision from the developers. Like, this is not just making a woman that doesn't wear makeup. No, it's like a conscientious decision to make her look as androgynous as possible, like to masculinize the character. And I thought that this is going to be it. It's just like another one of the types where you roll your eyes. It's like, oh, why did they do this? Like, it's not the community asking for this. It's not like people who would buy the game choose not to buy it because it happens to have a beautiful lady on the box. Like, why did they decide to move away from what the actress who plays the character looks like? And you get this interview resurfacing from 3 years ago, which shows one of the developers explaining why they made her look bad. So it's not a subjective thing now. Like, no, objectively, the developer, we now know, according to him, purposefully made the character look ugly. And it's very interesting, right? Like, why is this a thing? So, according to an interview given by N4G.com, we see that Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite debate, the developer of Horizon Zero Dawn was questioned why they made the main character so unattractive, despite the professional model looking good. So this is fantastic. We see a game journalist actually asking something that the gamers are asking about. I mean, if you go to any single gaming forum that talks about Horizon Zero Dawn, it's impossible that you won't see conversations pointing out that the character is ugly. Unless that gaming forum is hyper moderated and anyone that even brings it up gets banned. Unless that happens, you will see these conversations. So now you have the journalist just literally asking what the readers want to know. And we have the answer. The answer is that the director felt that the feminine look of the professional model didn't portray strength. They wanted to demonstrate for the heroine. Now, like, let this sink in, okay? Like, this developer, according to the marketing team, is very progressive, right? Like, they care about women. They want to empower women. But I guess, like, some women just don't have the right look. Some women, they don't have the correct facial structure. They don't look the part. So because of that, they had to be changed. Lara Croft looks much like the model she is based off, but the director of the game Horizon Zero Dawn described Aloy similarly to what the Uncharted 4 director had in mind for Nadine. So again, let this sink in. Open the bathroom door, let this sink in. Tomb Raider has a beautiful looking woman. Bayonetta has a beautiful looking woman. Like, this idea that you can't have feminine features as a heroine is really dumb, especially for people like me, which grew up with Xena, Buffy Vampire Slayer, in the year 2525, Cleopatra. These are shows and mediums that you could have just beautiful looking female characters kicking ass. I mean, just look at My Hero Academia. Because I think what's happening is that these developers, they want to have a male character as a lead subconsciously, but they don't want to do that because they would upset the marketing people. So they have to look progressive and they have to bring a female character lead instead. But the female character actress doesn't portray their vision of toxic masculinity, which they want to put into the character. And as such, they have to androgynize the character. You know, they have to give it the strong jawline, the broad shoulders, the short military haircut. And you get to see like just the rampant sexism, like things if I were to say on my channel, I would probably get a lot of people upset. I would probably get the community guideline strike for sexismus. Like, look at this. What if I were a girl is the quote. There was some debate on the subject, but the team decided that the original model portraying Aloy looked like she would quote-unquote cry if she broke a nail. By adding weight and masculinity to Aloy's face, they added the look of strength and intimidation. As discussed by Kotaku and on NeoGAF forums, Lara Croft-type characters look more like weak damsels in distress rather than strong heroines. So pump them full of testosterone then. You know, make them look incredibly ugly. Now, I'll tell you something else that's interesting, okay? Androgynous people are very rare. I don't know how it's like in California, but in Romania, like I've been to 2 universities, I hanged around a lot of people. It's very rare that you actually find someone that's androgynous. I'm not saying they don't exist, but it's very rare. So when I see Aloy and what they did to her, she's not a relatable character because I don't know people that look like that in my life. I know a lot of people that look like Lara Croft. I mean, if you go out clubbing in Romania, you're going to see a lot of people that have that body physique, that look attractive, that have like the hourglass waistline or whatever. You can see those people in real life. You're not going to see a lot of people like Aloy. Or, you know, like that, whatever Mortal Kombat is trying to do with their ladies. So it's very telling about, finally we know why these characters are made specifically to look ugly. Like, they want to have toxic masculinity, but that's not okay because of ideological reason. So they have to put a woman in charge, but they can't leave her as being a woman because their mind as a developer wouldn't fit with their expectations of what a woman is. So as such, they make her look like something in between. The perfect human, I guess. The ambiguous human. Man, it's so weird, but I'm glad like they finally addressed the issue. Like, we finally know why Diablo 3 is going to have the new female barbarian the way they're going to have it. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section. Let me know what you think the actress who plays these women feels like when they're going there using the facial recognition software.